Right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Makakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to Akim, that are teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth and in sincerity. This is the brother Caleb from the GMS London Forecasters Camp coming back at you with another lesson to edify the Lord's elect. As always, I'd like to start by saying that we are the real Hebrew Israelites. The real Israelites are so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and West Africans predominantly. However, you are going to get Israelites that do look like the other nations because Israel as a people has been scattered amongst all people throughout our various captivities. But if your seed line by your forefathers goes back to the man in the Bible that was named Israel, then you too are an Israelite no matter what you may look like, because the book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18 states that your nationality is determined by the lineage of your forefathers. So I've got an article that I was just reading here from the Evening Standard. It says depraved child rapist from southeast London jail for 18 years. This is by far the worst case I have ever investigated to an officer with 20 years of service. Now, as you can see, this man on the screen here, this is an Edomite. For those of you who do not know who the Edomites are are predominantly you so-called white people on the earth today. Mainly you Europeans, you Americans, you French, you Germans, Russians for the most part, You're all biblically descend from the man in the Bible named Esau, so therefore your nation is referred to as the Edomites, because there's no such thing as white people or black people. That's all false. When the Most High created nations, He gave the nations names, and the name He gave to you, predominantly so-called white people, are the Edomites, and the name He gave to the sons of Jacob were the Israelites, because Jacob was named Israel after he wrestled the angel, and the name Israel means he is a prince of the power, Yasharala in Hebrew. So this is a biblical red Hebrew Edomite on the screen here. Now, the reason why I'm doing this lesson is because this is the nature of you people, you Edomites. Now, don't get me wrong, you are going to get some of our people, some Israelites amongst you Edomites who may look like you, but it's all about the spirit, because this isn't about skin color, it's about the spirit. Now, the curse of biblical leprosy was put upon you as a people, but you have some of our people who are may look like you, but their seed line goes back to the man in the Bible named Israel. But this guy on the screen, this is a straight up Edomite, straight up and down. When you reach a certain level, of understanding in this truth, you're able to read and discern spirits. So let's read this. This is a depraved child rapist has been jailed following an investigation in which detectives scored through more than 1 million potentially indecent images. Dean Edmonds, 36, from southeast London, was sentenced to 18 years for 28 crimes at Croydon Crown Court on Friday. He had pleaded guilty to sex offences against children, as well as production of extreme pornographic images involving an animal. At earlier hearings. Now, this just makes me think of Job, the 30th chapter and the 8th verse. But I'll get the scriptures in a minute. Let me finish this first. It says investigators found more than 6,700 illegal images as part of their case against Edmonds. Among the offences were 3 counts of rape of a girl under 13 and 4 counts of taking indecent images of a child and intercourse with an animal. Basest of all men, man. Esau's the basest of all men. Fucking hell. Officers from the Metropolitan Police's South Area Public Protection Unit began an investigation into Edmonds in July 2020. They seized 11 devices with 1.5 million files and travelled overseas a number of times to interview a victim and her family. The majority of Edmonds' rape and assault offences are related to one girl who was aged between 3 and 7 years old when the abuse took place. I mean, why the hell would you want to mess with a girl between 3 and 7 years old? This is the thing, man. The spirit that's in him is not upright in him. It says, the team continued to provide ongoing support to the victim and her family. Detective Sergeant Laura Davies, who was the first person in the young girl had spoken to about the abuse she had suffered, said, "I've been a police officer for almost 20 years and I spent 5 years in the child abuse team, and this case is by far the worst case that I've ever investigated." Edmonds groomed his main victim to the point where she was so terrified of Edmonds that she was unable to tell anyone what had happened to her. This was an extremely traumatic experience for her, but she has shown great courage and bravery throughout this investigation. I wish to thank her for showing such strength and for putting her trust in me, as I was the first person she opened up to about what had happened. She started to physically shake at the mention of his name during her interview. What is truly heartbreaking is that, given the young age of the victims, it's difficult to establish what the full psychological impact will be on them as they grow up. The father of one of the victims said, "When we were first told about what had happened, I screamed in horror. I couldn't take what I was hearing. I couldn't comprehend what the police were saying to me. I did not want anyone to say those words to me, but they did, and it will forever haunt me. I went through weeks of pain, sleepless nights. I could not process it. I doubted myself as a parent. The guilt was too much to bear. I should have been there. I should have stopped it. I should have protected her." See, that's a righteous spirit. No, I'm not going to say it's a righteous spirit, but that is a righteous mindset to have, to want to protect your children from fucking predators. But in the kingdom, we're not going to have to worry about that because this stuff's going to be put away. Once we're in power, once the Israelites receive their everlasting kingdom, none of this, when this shit goes down, we'll be able to bring judgment upon it. Quick, swift. And there's a scripture that says, because sentence against an evil work is not carried out expediently, therefore their heart is fully set in them to do evil. Let me find that one. Yeah, this is Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Let's get it here. Okay, Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, it says, "Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil." So this guy who is doing this shit, his heart is fully set in him to do evil. So let's continue reading. "When my daughter was born, I was new to the whole dad business, but the unconditional love I felt for my little girl was like a train hitting me. She was a beautiful little baby. She was my little girl. And I cannot describe the anger, upset, disgust, and hurt I feel at what that person has done to her and what he has taken away. I cannot imagine how she must have felt carrying this around with her, not having told anyone. I feel so sorry for her that she had to bottle this up inside her because she was so scared to say anything to anyone. I will always carry the anguish of what has happened with me, but this is nothing to what my daughter will have to live with for the rest of her life." Some hard-hitting words there, man. So let's get Job, the 30th chapter and the 8th verse. It says, "But now they that are younger than I have me in derision." This is speaking of the Edomites. Job was prophesying about the Edomites here. "But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, and former time desolate and waste. They were living like beasts on the earth, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as a thief, to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys, in the caves of the rocks, in the caves of the earth and in the rocks. Luckier. Among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, yea, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. Now I'm going to read this again, verse 30:1. It says, "But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set the dogs of my flock." Now, in that article it said that not only was this guy abusing young children, he was dealing with animals too. Now that comes under bestiality, and there's a judgment against bestiality. Let me get that. Let me see where I can find that. Yeah, here we go. Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 15. "And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast." Yeah? Let me read that again. Leviticus 20 and verse 15. "And if a man lie with a beast, he will surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beasts." So the man and the beast are to be put to death. And it says, "If a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. Their blood shall surely be put on." Let me read that again. "And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them." So, when we're in our kingdom, we're going to be able to execute judgments and bring these things to pass to put this wickedness out of the earth. Let me get Psalms 149. I believe it's Psalms 149:1. Yeah, let's read from the top. It says, "Praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and with the harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people, and will beautify the meek with salvation." Who are the Lord's people? The Israelites. The Lord's not dealt so with any other nation. Let me quickly get that for edification's sake. Deuteronomy 7, verse 6. It says, "For thou," this is what the words that are spoken to us Israelites at Mount Sinai. It says, "For thou art a holy people unto Yahweh, thy power. Yahweh, thy power, have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you are more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because ye would keep the oath which ye had sworn unto your fathers, hath Yahweh brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt." So jumping back to Psalms 149. It says, "Praise ye Yahweh, sing unto Yahweh a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints." Who are the saints? The Israelites. "Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and the harp. For Yahweh taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory, and let them sing aloud upon their beds." Here's the point. "Let their high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgments written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. So this is what I'm saying. When we enter into our righteous kingdom, which will come after Yahushua returns and establishes his rule on the earth, Yahushua is the one that the world calls Jesus Christ, who's actually a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. You know, so-called black man because we're not black, as you can see. The screen here is, the background of the screen is black. My skin is brown. We're not black people. Neither you Edomites, white people, you're red. But yeah, when Yahushua comes, you're going to be able to execute vengeance upon these wicked acts. So we're going to be able to put this wickedness away. We're going to have the power to do that, and that's what we're praying for, and that's what we're working towards, and that's what, Lord willing, we shall receive if we are of the elect, because the scriptures have it written here that this is joy have all the saints, you know. So just a quick lesson there. With that, giving all praises, honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Shalom to Arkim, teaching this word around the globe with faith and truth. And until the next one, Lord willing, I say Shalom wa abababo wa kwam Yeshua. Shalom.